Hey everybody, welcome to Crack Pack Tuesday number 77 on the Mana Leak. I'm John as always, and we are solidly in Kaladesh, so we're going to open another pack. Little Miss Chandra is sitting here. We're going to open this pack up, see what's inside of it, and see what we would pick, pack one, pick one, if this was a draft. Up first, we have 9th Bridge Patrol. 9th Bridge Patrol is 1 and a white for a creature dwarf soldier. It's a 1/1. Whenever another creature you control leaves the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on 9th Bridge Patrol. I do like that this is better than Unruly Mob because you can blink a creature and this will get a counter. You can exile a creature or have a creature exiled more likely and have this get a counter. But it's still not very good. It still just doesn't quite get there for me. I've never really seen one of these go out of control just yet. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I will rarely play these, certainly never ever first pick one. Up next, we have an theorist. Theorist is 1 and a blue for a creature Vidalcan Rogue. It's a 1/3. When it enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy. Tap it and pay 1 energy to scry 1. It does a very solid impersonation of a scryfish, of a sigiled starfish, which of course was basically this, but it was an 0/3 and didn't require energy to scry 1. It's really good. It's really good. I really like theorists. Obviously, blue's a little bit weak in this set, but this is a solid common for blue. I don't think I would first pick it. I really don't think I would first pick it, but I would pick it relatively highly if I do see it. I like it quite a bit. Up next, we have Spireside Infiltrator. Spireside Infiltrator is 2 and a red for a creature human rogue. It's a 3/2. Whenever Spireside Infiltrator becomes tapped, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Very solid creature. It's a 3/2 for 3, which is, totally playable as a 23rd card already. If you have a spot for a creature and you really need one, you'll play it. The fact that it attacks for 4, sort of, because it deals damage when it attacks, is great. The fact that it deals 1 damage when it crews a vehicle is great. I really like Spireside Infiltrator. I think it's a very solid card. I don't think I would ever first pick it. Ever. Next up, we have a Skyworld Harrier. Skyworld Harrier is 4 and a white for a creature bird. It's got flying and it's a 3/4, and that's it. I'm not a big fan of Skyworld Harrier. I know a lot of people did some good things with this in the pre-release a couple weeks ago, and so did I. But this is the exact kind of card that does really well in a pre-release and does okay in sealed, and is terrible in draft, and I think it's just terrible in draft. If you really need a top end, if you somehow didn't get a finisher, if you have nothing but 2/2s, yeah, you can play this card, and that's going to be how you hopefully finish the game. But ideally, in the majority of your drafts, you're not going to be that desperate, and so Skyworld Harrier is a relatively low pick for me, certainly never a first pick. Next up, we have Attune with Ether. Attune with Ether is a single green mana for a sorcery. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. You get 2 energy. Are you splashing for a 3rd color? Go ahead and play this. Are you playing a 2-color deck? Do not play this. It does not ramp you. I don't care that it gets you 2 energy. I'm not playing a card that basically does nothing but get me 2 energy. Yeah, you can pick this up really late in packs. You should be able to pick it up really late in packs. And you only should play it if you are splashing a 3rd color. Or if you somehow solidly went 3 colors. But that I don't think is often correct at all. Next up, we have Thriving Rats. Thriving Rats is 1 and a black for a creature rat. It's a 1/2. When it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. Whenever Thriving Rats attacks, you may pay 2 energy. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So it's a 2/3 the first time it attacks on turn 3 if you do pay the 2 energy. This one just grows way too slow. It's not as slow as the turtle, which I also really dislike, but it's pretty darn close. It still dies to a lot of things, and it doesn't get that big without you putting a lot of work into this. I don't really like Thriving Rats. I wouldn't play it super commonly. If I'd play it as a 23rd card in many black decks, I think, but never a first pick. Up next, we have Narnam Cobra. Narnam Cobra is 2 generic mana for an artifact creature snake. It's a 2/1, pay green. It gets Death Touch until end of turn. I think we talked about this last week. It's fine as a 23rd card if you have to, if you're not in green. And if you're in green, it's kind of like a 22nd card. You're never going to go out of your way for this. You're going to play it if you have a spot. And if you don't feel bad about not playing it. That being said, if you need artifacts, if you have a Chief of the Foundry or something that counts artifacts or things like this, don't forget that you have this. And don't forget that this is, in your pack. You might want to take it because of that. But it's certainly not a first pick. Hopefully we get a first pick at some point. Up next is Windrake. Windrake is 2 and a blue for a creature drake. It's a 2/2 flyer. This is a prototypical 3-mana 2/2 flyer. It's 100% fine to play this. I will always play a Windrake if I have one. That being said, I'm never going out of my way for them. These are mid-pack picks. These are never a first pick. As much as I love you, Windrake, you're not first pick material. Next up, we have Sky Skiff. Sky Skiff is 2 generic mana for an artifact vehicle. It's a 2/3 flying crew 1. People have thankfully come down slightly on Sky Skiff. People were off their rockers on Sky Skiff the first week or two. Yes, it's fine. It's good is not too strong of a word to use. It's a good card. Crew 1 is really, really nice for this. That being said, there's a lot in the air on your opponent's side that just blocks a 2/3 and just says, okay, you've got a 2/3, cool. You're going to tap 2 cards on your side of the battlefield to attack me, and I'll just throw my, aerial responder in front or something like that. I think it's a fine card. However, I don't think it's a first pickable card. And I don't think you should pick this much higher than kind of high mid-pack. So Sky Skiff, people are coming down on it. I'm down on it as well. Still good card, still high mid-pack, but not much higher. Final common, Propeller Pioneer, 3 and a white for a creature human artificer. It's a 2/1 flyer, fabricate 1. We talked about this one last week as well. I think it's a very solid creature that you would never first pick. It's a mid-pack, maybe high mid-pack pick. It's a solid creature, but I'm just not really gonna first pick this. Although, we're 10 cards in. Maybe we hit something that can actually stay in frame here as a potential first pick, but it's not going to be Propeller Pioneer, I hope. We're looking at Pioneer, Sky Skiff, Windrake, Ether Theorist. Our first uncommon is Etherborn Marauder. Etherborn Marauder, 3 and a black for a creature, Etherborn Rogue. It's a 2/2. It's got flying, it's got lifelink, and when it enters the battlefield, you can move any number of +1/+1 counters from other permanents you control onto Etherborn Marauder. I like Etherborn Marauder, but of course you need to have a lot of counters. You need to be black-white fabricate. You need to be black-green fabricate. You need to be black-green counters fabricate. You need to have stuff for this to be great. As it is on its own, it's okay, but it's still pretty 23rd cardish, being a 4-mana 2/2 flyer lifelink. I don't think I would ever first pick it. I would first pick it pack 2 or pack 3 when I know I'm in the counters deck, but not before then. Our second uncommon is Cloud Blazer. Cloud Blazer is 3 white-blue for a creature human scout. It's a 2/2 flyer. When Cloud Blazer enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life and draw 2 cards. We all know that Cloud Blazer is fantastic. I'm hesitant about first picking it and jumping straight into blue-white off my first card, but it is a good card, so I'm going to keep it in frame. And it's currently the first pick by far in this pack, I think. Our final uncommon is Master of Inquiries. Master of Inquiries is a single blue mana for a creature Vidalcan Advisor. It's a 1/2. When Master of Inquiries enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. Tap, pay 1 energy. Target player puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into his or her battlefield, or graveyard. Not battlefield. That'd be really good. I don't like Master of Inquiries. I don't like mill cards in a set where mill is not supported, and mill is not supported here. So I would never pick or play this card. That being said, I have seen somebody win with it. I don't think it was correct, and when I played them, I beat them pretty handily, but I don't think it's a card that you should be picking or playing. Certainly not a first pick. Well, we've got 1 card left to challenge Cloud Blazer, and it's Midnight Oil. Midnight Oil, 2 black for an enchantment. Midnight Oil enters the battlefield with 7 time counters on it. Hour counters on it. At the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card and remove 2 hour counters from Midnight Oil. Your maximum hand size is equal to the number of hour counters on Midnight Oil. Whenever you discard a card, you lose 1 life. So, it's a lot of text. Basically, you draw 2 cards a turn, and then your hand size goes from 7 to 5 to 3 to 1 to 0. Yes, your hand size goes to 0. I've had this question a billion times. The last counter gets removed, and you go to 0 cards. That doesn't mean you can never have cards in hand. You can have cards in hand up until the end step. The cleanup step, actually. And then you have to discard a card and lose a life. I was super down on Midnight Oil. A lot of people were super down on Midnight Oil. People are coming around on Midnight Oil. I don't know if I am yet. I haven't played with it or seen it played yet. But I can imagine that if you first pick this and really heavily go into a deck that can, basically puke its hand out, and that's going to be good for you, then I could see this being pretty good. So I think it is a first pickable sort of build around card almost. That being said, I don't think I'm taking it over Cloud Blazer. This pack, as bad as it was, It actually wasn't bad. It wasn't bad for like pick 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. It was just bad for pick 1. But I'm going to take Cloud Blazer. Let me know what you would have taken. Would you have taken the Midnight Oil, I don't even know, Sky Skiff, Windrake? Let me know in the comments down below and in the poll in the top right-hand corner. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me on Twitter at @TheManaLeak. That's L-E-E-K, like the vegetable, not the card. You can also find me at Facebook.com/TheManaLeak and Twitch.tv/TheManaLeak. You've already found me here on YouTube. You've got that comment section down below. Please make use of it. Click that thumbs up icon. Click subscribe if you want to see more. And if you do have any questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see y'all next time.